Good evening once again. My name is Lorraine Malinda. I'll be your host for the evening. For those who don't know me, I am a research assistant and soft skills co-trainer here at Shuja. And so I would like to introduce today's speaker. James, you can take it from here.
Okay, that's okay. And let me just switch on my camera. Margaret, if your camera is on, it's a black screen. So good evening, all of us, and welcome to this session. My name is James Mwenda, cybersecurity expert and digital forensics. Let me just share my screen, confirm that my screen is up. Thumbs up if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Threat intelligence is visible.
And that's my audio is good.
It's perfect.
Right, thank you. So that was a brief intro. I've been in the industry for some time. Both I've been trained an undergraduate in computer security and forensics, pursuing a master's in IT security and audit, and also being baptized through fire, learning through tutorials, basically getting to the hands-on experience. I will be taking you through threat intelligence, the essentials around the threat intelligence. And I have a quote there. This is by Sun Shu, the author of the Art of War. You'll pardon my contact because I've shared two screens. I'm trying to look into the content. So in case there will be any hitch, you just give me a heads up. Just unmute and speak because I may not be able to see chats, but I will be checking time after time. Welcome and let's engage to this session. We will have a time for Q&A. So you don't need to worry. So from this quote, you say, if you know your enemy and you know yourself, then you need not to fear the results of 100 battles. Why? Because eventually you're going to win because you've done your research. But if you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, it's going to be 50-50. You will be winning and losing. And if you neither know your enemy nor yourself, you'll definitely lose all the battles. Let's move into it. So we're going to see first, let's just have an overview of the threat intelligence. Why is there need for threat intelligence? And this is the evolving world of threats. The cyberspace has evolved too much. Data is now the new mineral in town, the man-made mineral that has really pushed the cyber threats to be an economy of itself. So to be able to tap into these threat intelligence came into play to be able to support the fight against cyber threat. Previously, as the technology was evolving, no business as usual, competition is happening right, left, and center. So we had different organizations offering security solutions, but as standalones, there was no collaboration on how they do their things. It was purely competition, market competition. You come up with a new product, you have identified a new edge in the market, and you want to run with it, and you don't want your competitors to know. That was back in the days. But the evolvement of cyber threat forced everyone to come in together and share these ideas that you have. You could be having some very good Product, I also have another very good product, but what you know, I don't know, and what I know, you don't know. And it made it very difficult to be able to combat cybercrime. And as we understand, this is something that is going on and on every single day. So this necessitated the players to come together, and threat intelligence now came into play. So basically sharing this intelligence into a common pool, and this intelligence has been refined. It has been looked into. It's evidence-based. It's not hearsay. And then we put it together in a pool, and we are able to respond quickly. So we are able to understand the enemy. We are able to understand ourselves. And as you said there earlier, if you know your enemy and you know yourself, then you have 100 battles to win. Before we even dwell further, can we be able to define these two words? What's a threat and what is intelligence? Before we get to explain what threat intelligence is. So a threat is any event that can cause harm. And in most cases, we don't have control over these threats. They can either be cyber-related, they can be physical threats, they can be environmental threats, natural disasters that we do not have control over. So whether we like it or not, they are going to happen. The different categories of threats, there are those that are called known unknowns. So these are threats that we know, they have been documented, and we can always refer when they happen. The known unknowns, these are threats that are known, but their solutions is not yet known, or it's sketchy. Unknowns, we don't know the threat, and we don't know the solution. But with the help of threat intelligence and artificial intelligence, we will be able to capture these. What is intelligence? Basically turning data into actionable insights to reduce uncertainty. You have data, convert it into information, and then you make a decision out of it. These examples is human intelligence, or what we are used to, the IQ, decisions making. We have artificial intelligence, trained computers through data to be able to make intelligent decisions. Signal intelligence, geospatial intelligence. Those are the definition of what a threat is and what intelligence is. So can we now try and demystify what threat intelligence is? So basically, we are trying to get evidence-based decisions. So we know these threats are there. We have said we don't have control over them. We know them. We have solutions. Some we know we don't have solutions, and some we don't have information completely. But through the use of intelligence, then we are able to predict even the unknowns. So threat intelligence, as the definitions on the screen, is basically analyzing data, turning it into information, using tools and techniques to generate meaningful patterns on how to mitigate these threats, whether they're existing or emerging. Threat intelligence has three elements. The first bit is data. So you cannot make decisions out of the blues. You make decisions out of data. So we have data in play. I'm trying to get the best view of, yeah, that's better. So we have data. Basically, these are indicators. They come from different sources, which is down there. This can be from digital forensics reports. This can come from endpoint detections systems. This can come from user behavior analysis. This can come from SIM log sources. We have community threat intelligence feeds. Those are open source. We have the dark web. We have results from vulnerability scanners. open source intelligence, network telemetry, firewalls, IDSs, IPS, incident response reports. All these will give us the data. So information, it's basically combining the data that we have received from the different multiple sources to be able to make decisions. So data by itself will not help us so much. Sorry, that is what I was referring to. So the data, as I've said, those are indicators, and you get them from the different sources that you see down there. IP addresses, URLs, hashes, signatures, and then information from the data, you combine it to be able to assist you to answer questions. How did this happen? What time did this happen? Where did it happen? So the data will be able to help you derive information. We have intelligence. Now, you utilize the data and the information to correlate and you extract patterns from it. And the goal of threat intelligence is basically to understand the operations of your environment, your adversary, and how you're going to defend against this. So you ask the who's, the what's, the how's. That is what threat intelligence is supposed to answer. So let's look at classifications of threats. And just to add on from the log sources, they can either be internal, they can either be external. This can be from what you have experienced internally as an organization or what other organizations have experienced. So threat intelligence is classified into three: strategic, operational, and tactical. So from these, I've tried to combine a couple of things on this slide. So first is the level, strategic. We define it. This is a high level intel. So it's mainly pointed to people who are not techies. These are people who may not be able to understand the IT jargons. And it's basically trying to address the risks that within our environment that we operate in. So we are trying to look at this threat. So we are trying to look at who can attack us. What are the different attackers that are out there? Are they script kiddies? Are we prone to script kiddies? Are we prone to cyber criminals with a bit of skills? Are we prone to hacktivists? Are we prone to state-sponsored hackers? And the why. Why can we be? Or why? What is the motive? What the why is? Why are we exposed? Why are these guys coming after us? So it's because of the data as an organization. Some of these sources are commercial feeds. I've given examples. We have Mandiant, we have FBI, InfraGard portal, we have Proofpoint, we have Serianu. I know they give these reports once incidences happen. They also advise top-level management and organizations on directions to take around cyber threats. So basically, high level. So for example, let me give example with where I support information security. We look at trends. It's a financial institution. So we look at overall, generally, what is happening on the financial sector. So what types of attacks are happening? High level. So it's credit fraud that is happening. So it will be able to make, as you can see, the consumers and the leadership So it will help the leadership to be able to make informed decisions on where to invest, where to put the money. And if you're practicing, you know it's not easy to convince the leadership to provide money for cyber security operations. But with such intel, you can be able to convince them. You can show them the need by defining who can be able to attack us depending with our magnitude and how susceptible are we to them, or why can we be targeted. You know, sometimes they might not be able to understand this. The ISACs and ISOs, this is industry sharing analysis. Let me just refer that. Industry sharing and analysis centers and the industry sharing analysis organization. So you'll mainly find that in threat intelligence, we have different players. We have producers and consumers. Producers, we might classify them as the ISOs, basically organizations that generate these reports and give them out there to the public. Just give me a minute. I have a personal call that I have to pick. Sorry, I'll be back in a few. Apologies. And let's continue. So we have operational intel. It basically gives insights on the tactics. It gives insights on specific attacks or campaigns. It looks at the motive. So how can we be attacked? Where can we be attacked from? Where can these sources be coming from? The sources of these intel, we can get them from open source intelligence. We can get them from incident reports. It's mainly consumed by incident responders, level 2 security analysts and risk officers. And we have examples there, CrowdStrike, Falcon Intelligence. We have Talos, that is for Cisco. We have Checkpoint, ThreatMap. We have the malware information sharing platform. We have the digital forensic incident response report. So these are sources. And from these operational intelligence, we are able to classify the organizations. So the people, process, and technology, we are able to classify what are people assets in terms of people, in terms of processes that might be targeted by these threat actors. Next is tactical intelligence. We're mainly looking at the techniques, tactics, and procedures that the attackers are using. So it's answering the what went wrong, what was capitalized, what did they use. Sources of these malware databases can be URL databases. We can get this from SIM logs. We can get this from indicators of compromises. Who are the consumers of these security teams, both level 1 and level 2. And mainly these will assist us to be able to improve our security controls. From these, we'll be able to enhance our security controls. The platforms that you can be able to utilize to get this information, we have the likes of URL scans, Virus Total, Malware Bazaar, Fiodo, this is for botnets, SSL blacklist. The list is quite long out there. As I said, people have been brought in together because we don't have an option. If we don't come in together, then we will not be able to know our enemy, and we will not be able to understand how the enemy works. Right? Let us look at the life cycle of threat intelligence. So it didn't just happen. So from a high level, there is direction and planning. So basically here you define the goals. On my right, after whatever you see, those are examples of the life cycle. So under planning and directions, so we are scoping, we are identifying. You remember we said we are looking at our operational needs in the organization. So we want not to be out of scope. We want to focus on the industry that you are playing in. So you try to identify IOCs because you don't want a scenario whereby you have too much on your plate. The next phase of the life cycle is collection. So after we have defined, we have identified, we have positioned, we understand the operations, the risks, the threats that are associated with our organization, then we start collecting this data. Remember, part of the components. So we gather data from different sources. We get them from logs, we get them from community fields, we get them from threat intelligence, whether open source or proprietary. So in real life scenarios, in an organization, we will have log collectors where network logs are pushed in, where NAC logs are pushed in, the database logs are pushed in. So basically log collectors where all logs are pushed into one place. And the data connectors, we identify from the feeds of the open sources, what data connector will you require to be able to pull in this data. Next, let's look at processing. That's the third phase of the life cycle. So after we have collected this data, it's coming in. So now what else do? We need to process, we need to make sense of this data. And I hope by now, as we are into the sessions, we understand that we cannot be able to plainly, by our human efforts, be able to analyze this thing fast. So have in mind that we have tools that will assist us to do these things. So the log collectors in phase number 2, these are servers that are hosted on-prem or cloud. To enable us process this, these logs are pushed now after we have collected the logs. They are pushed to a security incident event manager or a SIEM or an XDR, extended detection and response. I've put it in here because XDRs, most of the XDRs that we have right now, they have these same capabilities. They can be able to detect, prevent, and notify. So yeah, under the processing stage, we are looking at cleaning data. So a lot of, if you have interacted with logs, it's not even a good thing. It's not fun at all. But the nature of the formats, so we clean, normalize, and then we validate whatever we have collected. These will be through the help of SIEMs, XDRs. I'm not vendor specific, so next is now analyzing. So the data has been cleaned. It's now in a format that is understandable to the user. So here you come up with playbooks, you come up with rules, or basically analytics that will be able now to consume that clean data. We can be able to classify this data as a high risk, medium risk, or low risk. If you see a high risk, do this triaging also happen at this stage? If it's a high, then let's trigger the CSAT, throw an alert. If it's a medium, do these automations happen also at this stage. And then the next stage of the life cycle, dissemination. So we need to share these reports with the relevant stakeholders. This can be security analysts, where you receive an alert from the SIM triggered by a playbook that or a rule that was there that you came up with. This can be reports from investigations after incidents have happened. And then finally, feedback. In something that I got removed, but basically feedback is improving. Now we start the cycle again. Yeah. So you refine the process from the learnings that you got through investigations. You might decide to update your playbooks. You might decide that we have seen another data source we have identified new IOCs that we need to connect. We have identified a new data connector that can be able to be plugged in into the common pool. So let us look at frameworks. Everything is guided, doesn't happen out of the blue. So we have frameworks or standards that guides on the utilizations of these. So, okay. Here I've only mentioned 4. We have, yeah, there we go. So we have the military attack framework. Basically, these will focus with the tactics and techniques that an attacker will try to utilize. It defines, if you see a particular indicator, or if you see a particular technique, then it defines, maybe that's a reconnaissance. They're trying to gather information about the organization. If you see another technique, then you might know that they have already gathered the information and they have moved maybe to the initial, to the next stage, which can be initial access, which can be execution, which can be persistence. So it basically covers it has 14 techniques that it identifies and flags. So rather than you wasting your time while doing these investigations, it points and tells you that with this technique, then these guys are already in. So maybe it's a command and control stage. You don't have to waste your time again starting from the beginning. It tells you it's a command and control, and you will now initiate playbooks of such a scenario. And then we have the sticks and taxi. Sticks, that's a structured threat intelligence expression. A taxi, trusted automated exchange of indicators information. So mainly this one defines how sharing of intelligence. Sticks will mainly focus on the formatting, standardization of the format. That is understandable. Taxi will mainly focus on collections and the channels to be used. The cyber kill chain, it will break down the adversary actions. So similar to the military attack, but this one is now less comprehensive. It's not comprehensive as the military attack. This one has 7 steps: recognition, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, actions and objectives. So basically, it will still, it sees a particular technique and it will tell you that the attacker is at a particular stage. So rather than wasting time, remember threat intelligence, we said it's trying to help us to be proactively preventing, defending these known threats or unknown threats. And then we have the diamond model. The diamond model focuses on the attacker. It focuses at the capability of the attacker. It focuses also at the victim. It looks at what could have gone wrong with the victim. It looks at the infrastructure that the attacker used and the victim had. It also looks at the capabilities that both the attacker and the victim had. So let's take a use case. Let's see where is threat intelligence used? Right, in incident response, it really helps a lot because from this threat intelligence, you're able to identify, you can quickly identify compromised hosts in your environment. You just need to know the indicator of compromise. If it's an IP, you're able to triage quickly to see how many devices have been affected. You can easily identify and contain through artificial intelligence, and you see they're able to detect these threats. For example, a phishing email would be coming into an organization that will be blocked even before it hits the inbox of the user. And if it hits the inbox of the user, if you action on that and it's malicious, then threat intelligence comes into play also, and it's able to flag, create an alert, and tell you that something has happened. Right, vulnerability management. The updates that we see, the first update that we see sometimes on Microsoft on our phones. So this is because a threat has been identified out there. It has been shared. As I said, this can be known, known, unknown, unknown. And when patches are there, then we get the fixes. So vulnerability management, it will prioritize. Remember, there are also false positives. So rather than wasting your time into getting into rabbit holes, threat intelligence makes it easier. Phishing prevention, I think I gave an analogy of this. So through the threat intelligence, we are able to contain these things at different levels. Before it hits the user's mailbox, even after it hits the user mailbox, and an action is taken, threat intelligence can come into play, and we are able to defend or prevent this from happening. Fraud prevention, this is very common from your phones. If you get these spamming messages that do come in, automatically you are notified. This could be a spam. Should you report or not? That is threat intelligence into play. Remember, we said it's a common pool. So all these threats are brought in together, and then it's disseminated. Then come into the conclusion of the session. We are saying that threat intelligence transforms raw data into actionable insights. So there must be a source, and then we try and transform it into actionable insights. It's critical for proactive prevention and defense and risk or threat management. We have different frameworks and platforms that ensures this is effectively implemented. And we are seeing the adoption of artificial intelligence in threat intelligence. So if Microsoft, they have Copilot, they have Copilot for security. Cisco, they have Talos. if you look at even the hardware that we use, the new generation firewalls that we use, they incorporate artificial intelligence, and this has really come in handy when it comes to the unknowns. I will quickly show you some of these platforms that you can be able to see. Others you may not be able to see. It's happening behind the back. So let's see whatever we can be able to see. Confirm to me that you are able to see the cyber threat map. Or are you still on the presentation?
We can see the map.
Yeah.
James.
So this is an example. So maybe you're sitting in a SOC somewhere. You are monitoring. You're doing your daily jobs, but you have a screen that is monitoring. For example, this is a checkpoint threat map. So it's basically showing you the threats that are happening. Checkpoints is a leading network devices provider, so they have this data. So from their customers, so they're able to see, like for example, what is happening here. We are seeing these are real time. These are real time attacks that are happening. They are classifying it. If it's red, that's a malware. If it's purple, that's a phishing. If it's amber or yellow, then it's an exploit that is being exploited out there. It shows you which countries, top targeted countries. So you will be on high alert. So if you see Kenya there becoming number one, then you become attentive. You become alert, right? You look at the top targeted industries, right? So this is one. There are several. This is not the go-to. There are several threat maps out there. Another one is the Google Safe Browsing. I believe you see these frequently. If you get to a link, you might get this pop-up that is telling you that this is not a safe link. There is threat intelligence into play. You cannot be able to send malware through emails. Why? Threat intelligence is play. It's looking at those indicators. Those indicators. It's looking at signatures. It's looking at IPs that have been flagged, and okay, this is how you see. Okay, we have. I wanted to show you. Let me just see. So we have something like abuse IP. So here is a pool of IPs that have been flagged. There are several platforms that you can be able to come and search for an IP if it has been flagged somewhere else. And then remember, these things are pushed to the technologies that are out there, and real-time monitoring happens. We have an example of URL scan to check if a domain is malicious. Has it been flagged malicious? We have the digital forensic incident report. Here you can be able to get incidents response templates of incidents that have happened prior. We have Abuse SH. It gives you a cocktail of tools that you can play around. The malware bazaar. This is to observe new signatures for malwares, hash values. Fiodo, this is for botnets. SSL to look for malicious certificates out there, scanning URLs. Still on malware, Yara, these are Sigma rules that are able to identify these indicators. With that said and done, I will take it back to the host and invite questions.
Thank you so much, James. Personally, I've learned a thing or two. I hope the rest have also learned something. Any questions, kindly? Just raise your hand, I'll see you. James, I hope you can see the reactions. You can see their claps.
Someone shoot questions? Not two things. If you don't ask questions, either it was very clear or I confused you.
All right, I can see a hand, the one starting with E. M1R34. Please go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my question is, we've talked of threat intelligence and how we can transform the raw data into actionable insight. And what if we are doing the threat intelligence and they are not included in the databases that you're trying to research on? How do we call, like, if those information are not in the database, then they are like taken advantage of by the malicious actors? How are we gonna do about that? Because if we are doing research, we expect that maybe the malicious IP addresses, we find them in the database so that we can create rules to our system so that they can be detected. So how are we gonna do about that?
Thank you. Maybe if there are others, I can take 2 or 3 and then I answer them into one. A good question. Thank you. And maybe you can even just say your name.
Oh, my name. Did you ask my name?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Oh, I'm Juma Emirigan.
Thank you. Maybe any other question before I respond to that?
Witty, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I hope I'm audible.
Loud and clear.
Thank you for this session. I believe I've met James before. Thank you for the insights. Very hands-on. Maybe for the sake of time, I would maybe wish to. There's quite a lot outside here in terms of career path, especially for sysadmins and those who are in IT support and would wish to take a different career path in the cybersecurity. Maybe what would you advise where to start with the certifications and such? Thank you.
Thank you, Muti. One more and then I answer. Veronica.
Mola, please go ahead.
The question is, can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
So my question is, after you gather the threat intelligence data, how do you validate to ensure that it's relevant or it's accurate to act on it?
Okay, thank you. Good questions. Let me pick the first one, 0 days. Basically, that is what you're asking. And from my screen, I'm sharing. I said these threats are either knowns. So this is something that is known and has been documented, and we have something to refer to. Known unknowns, this is something that is known and sketchy in terms of remediations. And then we have unknown unknowns, and this is now the biggest threat. You don't know the threat, you don't know how it's going to happen, you don't know how to resolve it. And that is what you're asking about this Emiran. So the adoption of artificial intelligence, that was part of my last slide. So we are utilizing artificial intelligence to be able to look at behaviors. You know, if you look at what is happening even right now, even the ransomwares that are happening currently, these are not new things. They're utilizing techniques that have been used previously, and they just modify and bring it. So basically, the use of artificial intelligence into threat intelligence is able to counter 0 days. I'm not saying that this will give you 100% guarantee. We have seen organizations being hit by 0 days. But what we are trying to do with incorporating of adoption of artificial intelligence in threat intelligence is basically to reduce these unknown unknowns. Good example, Microsoft has incorporated Copilot. We have Copilot for security. Cisco has also incorporated, after they bought Splunk, they have incorporated these AIs into this. So yes, to counter maybe that, Emirhan, the incorporation of artificial intelligence is able to pick these new solutions. And then the moment, okay, someone that is speaking, can they mute?
Oh, wow.
All right, I hope that is
Yeah,
clear. So we
watu
utilize
wanapanganga line.
Sorry, I've muted them.
That's okay. We utilize artificial intelligence to be able to pick new indicators. And then once that is picked, remember I said they're coming in together. It's shared quickly. Remember the framework, the sticks and the taxi. It's shared quickly and it's updated, and then you get an update. So this will be updated quickly into the database, and it's shared across all the stakeholders, and then we are able to prevent the impact further. I'm coming to your question, Mweti. Veronica, on validation, as I said, from the definition of threat intelligence, it is evidence-based, right? So we get the data, bring the information, but before it's shared out there, it must be validated. So they're active. There are people who will validate. So there are those that we already know that these are false positives. That one you can easily, in the life cycle, under this section of analysis, you can come up with playbooks that these indicators are false positive. So if we see these, we can automate that process. So the validation bit is there is human element that will do the validation, and then they are trained. You train using AI to be able to validate the knowns, something that is already known, and then risk classification. When you are validating these things, you look at the impact. If it's a law, you're not interested so much. If it's informational, you're not so much interested in it. So you have to validate, someone has to validate whether it's a true positive or a false positive. The question around career paths, I know the cybersecurity space is quite broad, but for me, what I usually advise is you must have, and most of you here, I believe, are people with background, at least you must have a background in IT. You must have something in IT, and then you pick a specialization. That is one. Two, if you just want to get into the space, it's more of a mindset. Cybersecurity is more of a mindset. That is why we have developers who are developing, are very good developers. They understand their languages quite well, but they're creating applications that are vulnerable. So it's a mindset. So from a mindset, you have to think like an attacker. Different career paths. So if you're into networking, you can focus with network securities. Basically advising the business into the good solutions that they should be able to invest in terms of networks, ensuring that the right protocols are being put in place. I'm telling you, you'll find somebody who's a very good CCN IP, top level network administrator, but very poor when it comes to matters security. So in the field that you are in already, if you're a network analyst or you're a network specialist, now can you just start focusing on the security bit of it? You don't have to change a career. Now look into the network space. What can I utilize in terms of security? If you are a developer, look into DevSecOps. Get yourself into secure coding, and automatically you will transition. If you are into AI machine learning, we are seeing these threats. We are seeing digital forgetting. We are seeing AIs that are being trained wrongly. So basically, it's the field that you are in, and then start focusing on the security element of it. And by that, automatically, it will elevate you. Now, you'll start moving slowly towards security. The other thing that I'm seeing people utilizing out there is cloud security. But still remember, you must have an understanding of at least computing, IT. You must have a niche. If it is databases, you must understand the database environment so that you are able to understand matters injections. And when you're setting up your DBs, then you have a focus around that. Right. Thank you. Back to you, Lorraine.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you also for the questions, for your participation. If there are no questions, I would like to leave it here and wish you a lovely night. Bye.